I've never used store-bought taco seasoning before, and I'm curious if I can make a homemade version that tastes even better, so here we go. Today we're making taco seasoning, and we're going up against the big dogs themselves, Old El Paso. I don't know if I pronounced that right, though I hope I did. We'll be judging our version versus theirs in 3 categories. How does the powder taste? How does it taste in ground meat? And how does it taste in corn tacos? I'll be showing you how to make the recipe from scratch, and the end result is kind of interesting. Now, without further delay, let's get to cooking. Now, let's first make our homemade taco seasoning, and this could not be any easier. In a small container, throw in 1 tablespoon of chili powder, followed by 1 teaspoon of cornstarch, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Now, fun fact, these 4 ingredients alone apparently already make up most of the flavors in the store-bought spice seasoning, with the only thing being left out is spice, whatever that means. But we are going to add a few more ingredients like 1 teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of black pepper. Slap a lid on that sucker and then give it a little shaky shake. Now I'll put that taco seasoning inside an empty glass, and now you have homemade taco seasoning, and this portion is enough for 1 pound of ground meat. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself because now it's time for our first test, which is to taste the powder. All right, let's do our first test here. I want to taste it raw. So let's see how this goes. Color-wise, I wouldn't say they're similar, but this is definitely a lighter color. All right, now let's get to the tasting part. I don't know how much is too much. I don't want to accidentally do the cinnamon challenge, but here we go. I'm going to do about this much of a tasting. That's way too much. I don't know why I did that much. I'm going to spit it out. It actually tastes decently good, I'm not going to lie. I actually enjoy those flavors. Now we're going to try this guy. We're going with about this much. Okay. Tasting it raw is quite an experience. Ugh. All right, despite my reaction, they actually both taste, honestly, pretty good. The seasoning's not bad at all. I will actually say I like mine better, but only because there's salt in it, and there's not a lot of salt in this guy, if any. Let me see. Yeah, there's no salt in this, so this definitely needs a little bit of salt. I do actually prefer this guy a little bit more. Either or though, there's no wrong answer here. They both taste delicious. Before we can cook our ground meat, let's quickly chop our toppings for our tacos. I'll cut 1 head of romaine lettuce fairly thin. We don't want any large chunks, and I did wash and drain the lettuce after cutting it. I'll next have 5 mini cherry tomatoes, and I actually lined them up all like this because I had a great idea of cutting through them all, but it didn't work. Either way, I'll give them a quick, nice and easy chopping, and then it's time to move on to our cheese. We're working with some sharp cheddar, and I'm gonna cut off a knob and then with a grater, grate that sucker. And please, for the love of God, don't use pre-shredded cheese. That stuff's covered in wax and a bunch of other stuff that make it not taste nearly as good as grating it yourself. Now that everything is prepped and chopped, it's time to cook our ground meat, but one quick message first. Now, if you're enjoying this video, I would greatly appreciate if you could please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps this channel out way more than you realize, so if you can't support, please and thank you. Now, to cook our ground meat, I'll be using this split pan that I have for hot pot, which is perfect because now I could cook both our seasonings at the same time. And let me also mention here that the recipe you're seeing is for 1 pound of ground meat. I'm splitting it in half so we could test both of our seasonings, but if you're making it at home, just follow the portions I tell you. Now, in your pot set to medium-high heat, you'll pour in 1 tablespoon of olive oil and toss in 1 pound of ground beef. This is a 90-10 blend, so 90% lean meat and 10% fat. With my wooden spatula, I'm gonna continue to chop and cook this ground meat until it's not only fully cooked, but also most of the fat has cooked off as well. It should take anywhere between 8 to 10 minutes. Once it's fully cooked, you'll next toss in your taco seasoning. And for 1 pound of meat, you'll use either a full packet of our store-bought mix or all of our homemade taco seasoning. We're
gonna let it toast and cook for 1.5 to 2 minutes, and then we're gonna toss in 1 tablespoon of tomato paste, followed by 1 tablespoon of brown sugar and 3/4 of a cup of beef stock. Give it a nice mixing and then set your heat to high, and then let those liquids reduce and thicken. About 4 to 5 minutes, but really until you get to the consistency that you like. In the end, it should look something like this. They're both covered in all the flavors and seasoning, and they're 100% not dry and crumbly. And now it's time for our second test, which is to try the ground meat.
I'm getting strong notes of beef in here. Let's just go straight in and try this sucker. We're gonna try the pre-mixed beef. I won't lie, that tastes phenomenal. That tastes really good. Super simple, super easy, has a lot of flavor. I do think the only downside I would say is that it's under-seasoned for sure. Or not under-seasoned as much, what I actually mean is there's no salt in it. Let's try our own mix now to see how it compares. Okay. Oh, wow. This tastes way better. The homemade version tastes insanely better, actually. It's not just the salt. There's something going on here. I feel weird saying this, but this one tastes beefier. Like the homemade taco seasoning makes the meat taste beefier and better. The store-bought taco mix, for some reason, just tastes more bland. Like the meat doesn't have that beefy flavor. There's a night and day difference between the two of them. I honestly am a little confused. I don't know what's in the store-bought pre-mixed taco seasoning to make the meat taste less beefy. I don't know what's the science between all those other ingredients they have in there, but there's something in there that's making this taste less beefy. Let's start making some tacos now.
Now, making our tacos is gonna be really quick as well. In a non-stick or stainless steel pan, bring it up to medium-high heat and then toss in 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Throw down as many corn tortillas as can fit, toasting it on one side for about a minute and then flipping it and toasting the other side as well for another minute. After that second minute of toasting, lower your heat to low and then throw down some heavy dollops of our ground meat, being extra careful not to accidentally touch the hot pan.
Ooh, I touched it. I touched it. Ooh, that was a good one. That woke me up. That was the best cup of coffee I could have asked for.
Now fold both your tacos in half, bringing the heat back up to medium high and let it toast and shape our tacos. If you have the patience, I would also turn the taco over once more for another minute, toasting the other side until it's nice and crispy. Now pull those tacos from the pan and putting it on a plate with some balls of aluminum foil for some reason, and give them a nice layer of shredded cheese, lettuce, cherry tomatoes, and you're done. You now have some beautiful ground beef tacos that have a nice little char on their corn tortilla shells. And we're now ready for our third and final taste test.
We're just gonna go straight into the last test here. Don't ask me why I put these things in here. I honestly don't even know why. But to the right, we have the store-bought taco mix. To the left, we have the homemade taco mix. That's really good. Okay. The meat is nice. There's a lot of juice to it. It actually doesn't need a sauce because of how juicy the meat is. You'll have no problem serving that to anyone in your life. Unless they're super bougie, they're not gonna tell that was the store-bought taco mix. Again, only thing it still needs though is salt. Slightly under-seasoned, but still phenomenal. Now, let's try the homemade taco mix. Yeah. What the heck? It's so much better. I'm trying to figure out what it is. It just tastes beefier. There's more salt to it. The flavors are just better. I'm so shocked by it, honestly. When I tasted the store-bought powder by itself, I thought it tasted good, but something's in there that just changes the flavors of the meat and I don't know what. If someone knows in the comments, please let me know down below, because there's something in the store-bought taco mix that makes the meat taste different. When the homemade mix just tastes so much better. It's actually blowing my mind how much better this tastes. Night and day difference. The store-bought one is still good, but when you compare it to the homemade, not even close. I'm shocked. Buy the herbs yourself and then make a homemade taco mix. It is significantly better, and you could make a bunch like I did, and now I have taco mix on the ready. Woo!
So in the end, it looks like our homemade taco seasoning was the winner. It tasted better, it made our meat taste beefier, and there's less mysterious chemicals in it that may or may not be good for you in the long term. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe. Let me know down below if you ever used store-bought taco mix before. If you want to see more videos like this, there's one suggested on the screen right here. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of your day.